not expect, I don't know what he expects, but he does not expect the Warsong Commander and Patron to clear off the whole Zoo board, right? So ever since that change was made to Warsong Commander, it actually made Zoo a little bit more powerful as a result.
Right,
Yeah,
we're actually going to open up game 1 here with a Hunter Mirror.
Yep.
And we see Zoro's running that faster Hunter version, and Kranich is running a little bit of a slower version. So we talked about this matchup yesterday.
Yeah, well, there's some different opinions about who's favored and what, but personally I tend to favor the faster Hunter in this case. It's always going to be a race, and the defensive tools are not quite there for the slower Hunter, so you can't really stop the damage coming in from the fast one.
Well, a good thing about Kranich's hand is that he did start with a Web Spinner, and he does have a natural curve with a 2-drop with the Bear Trap. So
Yeah.
if Zoro goes a little bit, YOLO, he's just gonna activate the Bear Trap, and Kranich is gonna have a 2-mana 3/3, which is above the curve.
Yeah, I've never seen Bear Trap be that effective. It's going to be quite amazing here.
Well, if Zoro's been keeping up with the matches, which I expect he would have at this point, he would realize that Kranich has already showed off this Bear Trap, but again, the Face Hunter agenda is as such to where you have to push the damage and you can't really play around it, so the Eagle Horn Bow with the coin going to allow him to deal with the taunt. There are many in the community who believe that taunt is in fact cheating. So, Bo's going to handle it.
Yeah, Bo is a very clean answer. And now Kranich does not really have a good turn 3 response to the current situation. Usually you want to establish more stuff like Animal Companion perhaps, or even draw Mad Scientist.
You might find a turn 3.
Oh, wow.
That's not a turn 3 play, but that might be very, very strong later on.
I was going to say, it's not playable now, but that might prove to be extremely relevant because when the slower Hunter tends to lose this matchup, it's not by a lot. So it's usually the Face Hunter just kind of edges them out. Leok.
Always Leok.
Never lucky. Leok, obviously not what you want to see here, especially with that Shredder coming down. Because that Shredder is going to trade so advantageously into Leok.
Yeah,
that's right.
Zoro is obviously going to perhaps use the bow to clear off the Shredder, but having the Leok off the Animal Companion gives so much time for Kranich to hopefully go into King Crush and crush Zoro out of the game.
I like it. King Crush Zoro out of the game. Zoro here is presented with a couple of options. As you said, Iron Beak the Shredder potentially and just use the bow to just cleanly remove it.
Right.
And then he still has 2 mana to work with, which I would assume would probably be put into the hero power as opposed to Quick Shot, although...
I kind of like Quick Shot actually, because the rest of his hand is so expensive. The Quick Shot won't be drawing a card anytime soon.
He also protects his HP with this move as opposed to actually putting the bow into the 4 damage Shredder. So
that is true.
I like that as well. When you're, because this matchup is such a back and forth, and as I just mentioned, the smallest amount of HP can make all the difference.
Yeah, usually in a lot of matchups, health doesn't really matter, right? It's about the reach that you're going to get in the late game. But with Hunter, the hero power is always there, so you can always just kill your opponent with the consistent 2 damage to the face.
Kranich with another taunt. Zoro, what do you want to see? And Zoro did just use the Owl to remove the Shredder, which at the time made a ton of sense, but now, unfortunately he has to use the Kill Command, which is a very precious resource. That is 5 damage in a lot of cases that Zoro will no longer be able to use on Kranich's face.
Well, it does deal with the taunt for now. Not a big deal. He still gets to deal some extra damage with the Iron Beak Owl and the hero power. He also drew a Clockwork Gnome here, but doesn't want to play it just yet because of the potential of Unleash the Hounds. And Kranich does have it.
So Zoro is technically winning the race right now. Obviously, 24 is a higher number than 18, so he is winning.
Yep.
But at the same time, Kranich has Unleashed the Hounds, which is a tool that doesn't do a whole lot in this context.
See? Always Leok.
Wow.
Always
it is, in fact,
Leok.
always Leok. All right, obviously we've been making predictions up to this point. That second Animal Companion in Zoro's hand, I'm saying it's Uffer.
No, it's Leok.
You sure we're going to get 3 of a kind?
Leok.
We're going to get 3 Leoks?
Absolutely.
All right, so, Amaz, what do you think? What's in that Animal Companion?
I think it's going to be a Huffer, man. You gotta kill your opponent before they Dr. Broom you. Because Dr. Broom does more damage than Huffer.
By a slim margin.
But just a little bit, like 8 damage versus 9 damage, since Huffer does charge the, turn you play him.
Right.
That's right.
So,
Yeah, I want to point out real quick before we get too far away from that moment that Kranich running that Sludge Belcher is a little bit uncommon these days in mid-range Hunter.
Yeah, but it does make a lot of sense when you play Snake Trap, right? Snake Trap with taunts are really, really powerful.
Absolutely, because if there is no silence for the taunt, it obviously forces the opponent to attack into it and therefore trigger the Snake Trap.
That also... Kill Command's being used in ways that the Hunter would rather not use them.
Yeah.
It looks like he's going for the Leok here.
Looks like he's going for the Huffer here.
Yeah.
Oh! Wow, we're all wrong. He gets the Misha.
I guess that's fair, right?
Yeah, I mean... I would have preferred to be right, but at least the Beast wasn't right. That's the trade.
Right.
Alright. Just gonna equip the Eagle Horn Bow here and attack. It's pretty much a 3-mana fireball in this case. You just want to hit your opponents in the face.
And honestly, Misha's not a bad roll. I mean, it's fun to joke around about how it should always be Huffer.
Oh, it's actually pretty bad here because the Hounds each have 2 damage on them because of the Leok. So Leok actually doing a lot of work here.
I was not finished, but yeah, no, I completely.
Oh, yeah.
Kranich really wanted to hit one knife on that Iron Beak Owl, but doesn't land it.
Oh, at least he has the Leok to clean it up.
He does. Would have preferred to go face with that. And now the Leok is also reduced down to 2 HP, so if there was an explosive trap coming out from Zoro, the Leok would be in danger.
So in a lot of situations, even as a face hunter player, you want to clear the knife juggler because it's such a problem.
Yeah, but you don't want to clear the knife juggler, there's the snake trap.
Right, but and especially when Kranich is at 13 health, and you look at your hand, you're kind of just thinking, it's probably just time to kill him.
Okay, yeah, that's also a thing.
So curious to see what he does here, if he thinks the knife juggler is an issue. Nope. He will not be deceived, and now he absolutely knows it's snake trap, so there is no chance that he is going anywhere but the face.
Yeah, and you probably want to hero power instead here, instead of Wolf Riders, because you can Wolf Rider and hero power next turn.
Yeah, agreed. He wants to be able to have as good a chance to end the game next turn as possible, and with the Wolf Rider in his hand, Clive Zuka would also do it.
Oh, Dr. Boom, that's 3 juggles.
Glaive Zuka.
All 3 juggles hit these minions. Kranich might actually set up lethal for next turn with the King Crush.
Oh, wow.
That would be quite the comeback. But yeah, I mean, as you brought up, Speed's Glaive Zuka would win him the game. Second kill command, a quick shot, a stiff breeze.
Or the spare part, perhaps?
Oh, wow.
All right.
No, that's the wrong one.
Yeah.
No, but it's I mean,
Does it?
as a face hunter, like 95% of your deck is devoted to doing damage. So
It's true. Can you really call it a top deck?
I was gonna say,
so many
no,
cards.
it's the deck strategy. There's really, I mean, with Haunted Creeper removed from face hunter list too because it doesn't do immediate damage. That was like one of the only cards that didn't do immediate damage. So the world where he couldn't find 1 damage as a face hunter wasn't a terribly probable world. But yeah. Zoro's going to take game 1, obviously, and yeah, off the back of playing really well. Obviously understood his outs as face hunter.
I wanted Zoro not to draw the damage because I just want to see King Crush in action, man.
Hey, that's totally
that's
fair.
weird.
That's totally fair. From a viewership experience, King Crush is a ton of fun to watch on the board. So Zoro finishes now that first game. His hunter deck is officially out of the running, and the next 2 decks he's going to have to use Druid and Paladin.
Yeah, their face hunter was very strong against Kranich's lineup anyway, so that win is, even though it's a nice 1-0 for Zoro, it was not the most meaningful one, I would say, because that deck was expected to win anyway.
Right. But and good thing for Kranich, he still has his mid-range hunter against, stuff like Druid, which is a very good matchup. So I wouldn't say that Zoro is in a huge advantage. I still think Kranich can still get it.
Yeah, absolutely. We actually had a chance to talk to Zoro a little bit about the background on his gamer tag, so we'll go ahead and share that with you guys.
Zoro 这个是日本的一个动漫的一个人物他就是有一种坚韧，遇到困难永不放弃的一个精神，所以说我很喜欢这个人物。如果我夺得了这次嘉年华的冠军，拿到这笔奖金，我会去买一下，就是我的来源的Zoro这个动漫人物，买一下他的衣服啊、刀啊，来武装一下自己。
So obviously, a lot of people come to the Hearthstone World Championship with different goals. Obviously, winning is the ultimate goal, but winning kind of enables other things. I like his goal.
Yeah,
like
$100,000 Zoro costume.
It will be, without a doubt, the best Zoro costume in the world, rated #1 by Gosu Gamers in all their rankings. It's absolutely going to be the best costume, and I think it's pretty cool. A lot of people, when they are asked, what are you going to do with that money? Like, what are you going to do if you win? And it's like, I'll like buy a house or I'll invest the money in like hedge funds or something. But he's like, no, I'll build a really cool costume.
No, a lot of players today were, when they were saying that if they win the prize money, they're just gonna buy something for their mother, which is really sweet.
I mean, I'm sure even after buying a really nice Zoro costume, you can still buy something for your mom. I mean, there's gonna be some leftover money.
All right.
At least a box of chocolate.
I was gonna say, at least take her to dinner or something. But we're gonna hop over here into game 2, and this is going to be, I believe, Secret Paladin versus the Zulok.
Right.
Yep.
Which I actually, so back in the day, Paladin was hugely unfavored against Zoo. Zoo just ramped up way too quickly. Paladin has the big board clear, but it costs a lot of mana. It usually leaves them with a very weak board as well because of equality. I'm not actually super sure, personally, how Secret Paladin does into Zoo. Do you guys have any kind of insight into this matchup?
I think Secret's Paladin against Zoo is such a big favorite for the Secret's Paladin because you have minions like Shielded Minibot, which trades 2 for 1.
Oh,
you
just
also,
look at
yeah, exactly. And then you also have Muster for Battle, and we do know that Zoo has a very hard time dealing with a lot of small creatures. They don't have Area of Effect. They do not play Hellfire or Shadow Flame or anything like that. The only thing they play is Knife Juggler Implosion, and that is a turn 6 play, whereas Muster for Battle comes out at turn 3.
Yeah, the Shielded Minibot was already looking so amazing blocking the Knife Juggler, but Kranich does draw the Void Walker from the top of his deck. That is going to help deal with the Divine Shield.
Yeah, but at the same time, is that really that good? And Muster for Battle is going to come out next turn.
It's not that amazing, but it does help.
It helps a little bit.
Yeah, it will protect that 3/2, which I mean that's kind of the worst case scenario as the Zoo player. Is that 3/2 comes down, you deal 3 damage to yourself, and then it just dies, and it doesn't even trade out. It pops the Divine Shield.
Trades with the Divine Shield.
Alright.
Yeah,
Doesn't
so-
feel good.
And when we look at Kranich's hand right now, Void Terror is not super relevant to anything he has currently. Implosion could be big on turn 4, but unless he draws something better, we might just see that Knife Juggler come down, and he's not going to feel good about just playing the Knife Juggler down onto the board. But I feel like in this matchup, you can't really just let yourself get behind on board, because Paladin is so good at generating board presence with cards like Muster for Battle. We see a lot of like Piloted Shredders. So you probably, I don't know, what do you guys think? Knife Juggler on the next turn here?
I think you go all in with the Void Terror. He knows that there's no other Peacekeepers in Zoro's deck. It is the Secrets Paladin. Unless I'm mistaken, looking at this hand, we don't see any secrets, but I believe he had some in his starting hand.
Yeah, going with the Void Terror would be a very good play, given that we know all the information here. Zoro does not
true.
have a
Zoro doesn't
answer
have
to deal with that. So.
But is there any card that Zoro could even have to deal with that efficiently? Maybe Noble Sacrifice would kind of slow it down.
That's true.
I think also you have to take into consideration what your turn 4 is going to look like. So you have that Defender of Argus at the moment. You have the Implosion.
Right?
I mean, your turn 4 is not very solid based on what you see on the board right now.
Another problem with Void Terror is very hard to play the actual card. Sometimes you just don't want to kill your own minions. And
He's doing it.
Oh, he's going for
I
it.
love it.
This is good. This is a very, I don't want to say ambitious, it's an aggressive.
It's a heads-up play.
It's understanding that the rest of your options are not good.
Yeah.
So this does present a big body on the board that if it isn't dealt with, could absolutely just do so much damage to Zoro over a couple of turns.
Yeah, Zoro can't really do anything about it for now. Master of Battle, always good, and he's still at 26 HP, so taking 7 from that next turn is not a huge deal.
This is one of those cool moments for Kranich, like when you're playing a match and you make what you feel is a really heads-up play, and it isn't punished, and you're just rewarded for it. You're like, yeah, I was really clever there. I'm glad I did that. And now we see Imp Gang Boss, which not uncurved, but still a very powerful minion, especially with all those 1/1s and the 2/2 on the board. But Implosion also very solid when you roll. Yeah. Kranich has not been studying up on his demonology.
Oh wow, that equality was really good because the Implosion actually removed the possibility of Void Terror dying from the board, but not from the hand. Equality is going to kill off the Void Terror really well.
That is absolutely not something Kranich wants to see. That said, he's not in an awful position here. He'll be on turn 5. He could play down the Knife Juggler and the Imp Gang Boss and try to snipe one of the 1/1 Silverhand Covenant recruits.
But his time is actually running out. Zoro has Lothep next turn, and Dr. Broom and Tyrion Fordring to follow it up. So, yeah, Zoro really needs to find a 6-drop, and that's like...
Oh! What did you say, Amal?
Yeah, well, there it is. That's what you want to see, right?
Oh, that's
I mean,
amazing.
I see 4 straight legendaries you play. 5, 6, 7, and
No,
8.
Mysterious Challenger is not a legendary, even though...
I mean, you say that, but it feels like a legendary to me. It does a lot when it comes down.
Okay, so we know that Zoro, if this game goes to the late game, Zoro is in a commanding position. But Zoro is down to 15 HP, so maybe there is still a chance that if Kranich takes very aggressive approach to this, that he can end the game
Alright.
before anything too bad happens.
Yeah. Zoro drawing the secret was a little bit unfortunate, but running 2 copies of
I was
each.
gonna say, we saw the 2 in the opening hand, so...
Yeah, makes a lot of
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, this is just brutal.
And unfortunately, I think if Kranich can't, I guess, close this out before turn 8, and that Tyrion Fordring's on board, things just get so much more impossible.
Exactly.
This is definitely a bad spot for Kranich to be in. As
Some Doom Guards, some Powerful Whelmings will do the trick.
I think Kranich really needs a 4 here, because with all those 1/1s, Zoro doesn't have the Consecration right now, and the
Right.
1/1s are going to be annoying to deal with.
You could be a bit greedy too, right? Attack of the Argus first, and then the Avenge goes on the Lothep, and then you roll a 4.
This is an interesting point, because
Interesting.
when it comes to Secret Paladin, there's this idea among some of the top level players I've spoken to that you just have to understand how to like basically disarm the traps. And if you do it correctly and you have a plan and you understand what's going to happen, then it's usually not that bad and you feel like you can beat Secret Paladin.
Right.
But at this point where Kranich is so far behind, there isn't really a scenario where you disarm it to be in a better space.
Yeah.
You just kind of have to deal with it because you need to push the damage before things get too out of hand.
When you only have 1 minion, it's really hard to not disarm the trap, right? Your choice is whether to attack or not. And Kranich is going to choose not to attack because it'll give Zoro a bigger board.
Yeah,
that's the case.
Zoro would have gotten an extra 3-2 from the Noble Sacrifice. The Noble Sacrifice would have come out, get a redemption, and not only that, the Avenge would have also went off, and either the Mysterious Challenger or the Loader would have been buffed. So a smart decision from Kranich not to attack that turn.
Speaking of a bigger board there,
Yeah.
hey, it's Dr. Boom.
Yeah. Kranich probably realizes that this is not his game to win on the board. He just needs to rush his opponent down. So he's getting life tap here, try and find some damage, but Void Terror is not quite it.
Void Terror looks so happy too. He's like, hey, I can help. It's like, no, could you be a Doomguard instead? Could you go back and get Doomguard?
Exactly.
So brutal.
Yeah, this is wow. That Boombot eats his Wheaties. Very strong Boombot.
Kranich needs Twisting Nether and 2 extra mana right now.
Deathwing would help. Deathwing would help, and then maybe a couple extra
and
mana.
a couple of extra mana. Yeah.
Okay, so it's
Trying
important to roll for here.
Oh.
So.
This is
Okay,
Kranich goes ahead and concedes that. Zoro's gonna go up 2-0. It's so crazy to me how far this matchup has come since just the early days of Hearthstone, where Paladin just got out-muscled on the board so easily
Right.
by the Zulok, and now Zulok's in the position where it's like, shielded minibot, muster for battle. This is all going terribly. I don't want this in my life. And then he
Yeah.
just curves down to Lotha, Mysterious Challenger, Dr. Boom, and it's
Yeah.
dark times for the Zulok.
Yeah. All the tools are there for the Paladin to combat the Zulok very efficiently, and in this case, Zoro drew into them as well.
GVG really helped the Paladin with Muster and Shielded Minibot. So
Right.
that's why we saw a decline of Zoo. Perhaps the Warsong Commander wasn't enough to bring the Zoo back.
Well, it's one of those reads again where it depends on what you expect to see. And as I mentioned a couple times over the course of this tournament, we didn't really see any of the Secret Paladin in the European
That's
Championship. We didn't see it in the North American Championship. Players were still not sold that it was consistent enough to bring. So maybe Kranich is figuring, well, I don't expect to run into Secret Paladin. But yeah, so now we're in a place that feels very familiar over the course of this tournament. Zoro just has to win 1 game, 3 chances with Druid.
All right.
So generally speaking, Druid very capable of winning 1 game.
Yeah, it's looking quite good. Even if all other things go wrong, there's always the mirror. So at worst, there's at least one 50-50 matchup, even if he's not favored in the other 2.
Okay.
Right.
So 2 free chances to perhaps win the Hunter or the
Kinda.
Warlock matchup, the Zoo, which
Yeah.
is both pretty hard matches, but you still have the 50-50. So yeah, Zoro's definitely a big favorite
The
here.
Hunter and the Warlock, I would say, are not favorable for the Druid, but there's still a decent chance. If you get the right draws, you get the mana cards early on, you get the Innervate, Wild Growth, Jonas Aspirant, and then curve out nicely with your Druid of the Claw and so on.
I
You
heard
can
turn
beat
2.
absolutely anything.
Yeah, I heard turn 2 Dr. Boom is pretty good against those castles.
Yeah, it's decent.
Zoro? Oh god. It feels like whenever you're the hunter, you just automatically give Druid Innervate and Keeper of the Grove in the opening hand.
There you go.
This has been one of those things that like pains me personally to see. Is
It happens
the Keeper of the
every
Grove.
single game.
Innervate.
Yeah, it's like the you're facing against Hunter. Here, let me help you out.
Oh yeah, you're definitely gonna want to go with this. This is gonna help you a lot against that knife juggler. That Kranich will certainly draw by turn 2.
There you go.
I need a moment, guys. This is
Okay.
really painful for me to
Is it
watch.
hard coded in the Hearthstone software?
No, I'm actually just a wizard, and I'm really good at predicting these things.
Okay.
Savij and I were doing it actually backstage during the last series. Like we were just predicting things like, "Oh, Cutpurse, what if he had Dr. And then he draws Dr. Boom. Yeah. So for Kranich, the name of the game here is try to get board pressure. For Zoro, it's survive until he has minions on board. Using like Savage Roar to go ahead and finish off the hunter.
And once again, Keeper of the Grove is probably going to trade 3 for 1, right? You play it down, kill something immediately, and then Keeper of the Grove kills a Web Spinner, and then dies to Eagle Horn Bow. That's 3 cards to kill 1 card.
Such an incredibly strong turn, innovating out that Keeper of the Grove.
Farewell, Knife Juggler.
If
We hardly knew ye.
If Kranich had an Eagle Horn bow, he could use the bow and the Web Spinner to take the Keeper out, but there's no bow in sight.
We'll see if he gets any. Well, so okay, you have the Snake Trapper, you have the Haunted Creeper here. You would expect that he's going to clear the Haunted Creeper, so maybe the Snake Trap feels better. We do see, obviously, Zoro has 2 swipes in hand.
Yeah.
So,
It's true.
Swipe is one of those cards that punish a lot of 1/1s.
yeah,
Amos, which one would you lean towards here?
Oh, I would actually lean towards Snake Trap, so that you know, establish 3/1/1s. 3/1/1s combined together is a 3/3, whereas you know, Haunted Creeper might not be as powerful. And of course, if you have 3/1/1s, it makes the damage harder for them to clear. And if you top it something like the Hellmaster, it can be very effective.
I like the fact that he went with the Haunted Creeper ultimately. It's hard to remove. I think you want to just try to stick on the board. I think the Snake Trap is totally valid for the reason you brought up. And moreover, it's 3/1/1 beasts. Once the Haunted Creeper is procced, you know, obviously your beasts are off the board. You just have the Spectral Spiders. You're going to see actually the swipe come out, so
Alright.
maybe if you're Kranich then, you feel like the Snake Trap. Obviously, you don't want your turn 4 to be Snake Trap hero power, but you feel a little bit better about the odds of your snakes doing something impactful. Kranich may be... Alright, I got something for this. Right. Kranich may be down 0-2, but he's crushing it this series. Huh?
Wow.
Yeah,
We don't like
perhaps
this?
the wrong direction. You
Yeah,
know?
he hasn't been crushing it. He's down 0-2.
But he's drawn Crush twice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see if he can crush this game. But it's gonna take a while to get there.
Yeah,
Only
once
at 4
again,
mana
right?
now.
But I mean, this time he's you know, a little bit better position. He has a low threat. He's a Dr. Broom, so he has a lot of threats leading up to the King Crush.
Zoro also has to kind of figure out what he wants to do with this turn. He could go ahead and just innervate out an Azure Drake. You float a mana, which, you know, never feels particularly great.
You float more than 1 mana if you don't do it, I feel like.
Right, so it's kind of which is the most efficient play of not super efficient plays. I'd say he's still in a great spot. Having that second swipe feels really great for the Druid player. You know, there's kind of a limit on how bad things can get in your life playing against a Hunter when you have the second swipe.
Nope, and we see that he is actually going to just kill off the Mad Scientist. He does know it's a Snake Trap after the attack of the Keeper, but now there's a second trap, so he has to be a little bit more careful with his attacks.
Which I'm pretty sure he knows his Bear
he knows.
Trap.
He's seen Kranich play the deck earlier. There's so
Yeah.
much on the line that he for sure has been following Kranich's earlier game.
So if it is a Bear Trap, attacking the face is also bad, and attacking minion is also bad, so he would actually be better off holding off.
He can't attack right now. But the second swipe is going to be incredibly good against the Snake Trap.
Yeah, second swipe, especially with the Azure Drake spell power, could do a lot of damage here.
Yeah. But-
Kranich last turn does get the 5/5 down, and it blocks. Obviously, the Azure Drake was probably going to be the play anyway, but at the same time, getting a big body on the board is good. Oh, and the Eaglehorn Bow, great pickup.
Yeah, not bad at all. He would have preferred something like Hyman, but that Eaglehorn Bow, it's quite sweet. He has a good turn 7 coming up, and being able to play something on top of that Juggler this turn is very important.
Well, yeah, the Eaglehorn Bow is effectively an Assassin's Blade, right? It's a 3/4.
He has 2 traps
He has
up.
2 traps up, so it's really, really powerful for the mana cost.
For
Now
sure.
for Zoro, he could actually do something interesting, I guess. He could hero power down the Knife Juggler, take a little bit of damage, and then swipe the Snake Trap that comes up afterwards. But then the problem is that you're giving the extra charge for Kranich to work with.
Yep.
So he's gonna actually swipe this instead,
Play the
establish a
shade.
shade, and you know, kind of freeze his opponent's weapon.
But it's huge draw for Zoro right there, getting the big game hunter. He doesn't know it yet how important it is, but he's about to find out, and there's the Dr. Boom. And Zoro with the perfect answer.
Curious to see if the Shade survives the Boombots. This is actually a really good way to get rid of the Shade.
Okay, but we're not attacking the Boombots, right? Because the Snake Trap is...
At some point, those Boombots will explode.
Okay.
And the Shade may get caught in the crossfire.
That's true. Boombots love killing BGHs.
That's right, and those Boombots might also take out the Shade. This is such a weird turn. Even though he has the big game hunter, he can't really play anything else with it. Because he only has those expensive Druid of the Claws and the Ancient of Lore. So, what do you even do? You can big game hunt that, then what? Hero power,
hero
pass,
power.
and
Yeah.
hope that the Shade survives the Boombots.
Can't attack the face because of Bear Trap, and can't clear minions because Snake Trap.
We might see a Crush come out this game. That is the only big game hunter in the... Oh, did he play double big game hunter? Somebody was playing
Somebody
double
was playing
big game
double.
hunter. It might have been Zoro. But
I
at
think it's
least he
worth,
doesn't have it yet.
I think it's worth pointing out, that big game hunter coming down, now you've seen it. You have King Crush in hand. I
Yeah.
mean,
There you go.
that's just something to consider.
Wow.
True. Alright, let's see what the Boombots do.
Alright, here we go.
Oh!
Only
Oh.
one. Dash. Crush.
Boombot defective. Not working. return to factory. So next turn, Kranich has 1 card in hand currently. Costs 9 mana. Kranich will have 9 mana.
I wonder what he's gonna play.
I don't know. It's a tough call. I mean, you could hear a power pass. Maybe.
Or you can draw the top card of your deck.
I was gonna say you could draw maybe. I mean, if Savannah Hyman comes out, maybe play Savannah Hyman.
Or draw the actual King Crush you included in your deck.
Right.
Hey, you joke, but I remember Jab was running that list for a while. That had the King Crush, and I was playing it on ladders.
Okay.
Very satisfying to play King Crush. Yeah, King Crush does a lot of face damage. Very good.
All right, not this
Oh, he can do it! Yeah!
Let's try it! Bomb the
Perfect
shade
call.
one more time.
All right.
Bomb the shade.
Oh.
Here we go. King Crush.
Oh.
Wow.
And of course, King Crush only knows face.
And this is what's so good is that Kranich still has both traps. Right, he's still got Bear Trap, he's still got Snake Trap. So Zoro not only has an 8/8 dinosaur to contest with, he has to deal with 2 traps.
Yeah. Force of Nature is usually a very powerful trap disabler because it gets rid of a freezing trap. You still have to treat, but that's not going to really work out too well here.
No.
Now wait a minute. Now so he has Savage Roar.
Right.
There's a combo.
Unfortunately,
Snakes don't prevent that. The taunt.
The bear does prevent one attack from that, and this is just.
He can barely survive.
What an awkward situation for the druid to be in.
I saw what you did there. Barely.
Barely.
Oh, I actually didn't see it, but now that I see it, I'm glad you pointed it out. Thank you for bringing your pun game to the desk.
I feel like you should have used the shade on the 3/3. Well, I mean now it's gonna die. So a small misplay, but I think the game is already over.
Look at he's targeting the dinosaur.
Yeah.
Dinosaur is the problem.
Yeah.
Terminate
Shade
dinosaur.
dies.
The shade died for no reason, but the game is pretty much over, so not a big deal.
I don't know if you
Play rundown
play
base
down
for
2
one.
Druid of the Claws next turn, maybe you get an Ancient of Lore, maybe you start healing up.
Wow, double Hunter Smart.
I know, and that's a very dead draw. Obviously right here.
Yeah, but
Yeah, okay,
yeah, we're down to 1. Even if Zoro draws the heal, it's still not that great.
yeah.
That's it.
Yep. Kranich is going to be able to stay alive in the series. Obviously, even if he loses the series, he's not out of the running. His road to BlizzCon continues.
Yeah.
He has another chance to advance out of the group stages.
This is the positive day where nobody gets eliminated.
What a great day. Nobody
Yeah.
goes home today.
Yeah. Crypt liked the last day a bit more, where people get eliminated.
I don't like that. That's so sad.
He likes to see people get crushed. But we do too, I
There we go. Anyway, Kranich in the series now. It's 2-1. Kranich finally gets that win on his Hunter deck. I feel like Kranich's Hunter deck all throughout this tournament for him has been, I don't want to say his poorest deck, but it's had the least consistent results.
mean. Right.
I feel like Hunter really since the Americas Regional has been kind of all over the place as far as how it performs. Obviously, some players have struggled with getting that win, but he does have that win now, and he has his Demon Zulok and his Druid deck left to win with. So we may end up seeing, Svids, as you called, that the famous Druid Mirror.
Oh yeah, it's there's a lot of strategy in it as well. Quite often you see the players just play on curve. If they have a Shredder and 4 mana, they play that, then play a 5/5. But there's a lot of strategies in it still. Like what do you innervate out, and what do you keep in your starting hand?
And I think one of the main deciding factors of good Druid Mirror is to when you reveal your shade. That's actually a very important, strategy that you need to know. Keeper of the Grove kills it. If it's a 4 health, it can be traded down. 5/5 is usually the perfect moment to reveal it. But sometimes it's different. You want to save it for Savage Roar maybe.
Absolutely. We actually had a chance to talk to Kranich, who, as we mentioned earlier, this is his second trip back to BlizzCon, about what it means to him to come back to BlizzCon.
So I'm the one and only player who made BlizzCon 2 years in a row. That's because I'm a really good player. I know that there are 15 BlizzCon noobs this year, and they will be really nervous against me. I feel really confident about that.
I actually didn't think anyone could have more confidence than the European players, but Kranich really calling him out. He's calling him 15 BlizzCon noobs. And obviously, we saw Jab, in there.
Just looking around.
Jab in there, looking around. Obviously disagrees. But I like Kranich's swagger. A lot of these players come to this, they're nervous. It's kind of their first really big tournament, their first chance to kind of prove what they can do on the big stage. And Kranich, no nerves. He's been here. He's a veteran. Obviously, his Cardigan game last year was one of the most impressive things about BlizzCon. So I like it. Kranich has a lot of style.
Yeah, I mean, it's better to be confident than be like, I'm not very good, I'm just gonna lose. So. But he needs to back up all that trash talk and not get crushed by Zoro here. He still has a chance. He's going to play Zoo Warlock now against Zoro's Druid. Looking at a Knife Juggler, not bad. But it needs something more to go with it. Maybe another 2-drop since he has the coin.
Well, I mean, if Kranich keeps the Knife Juggler, we know what's going to happen to Zoro's Mulligan, right?
Oh,
Innervate,
Keeper
of the Ground.
that's true.
Did he get rid of it?
Yeah, he got rid of it. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, you get Nightmares.
knows,
You
he
don't want to
knows.
keep
I mean,
that.
unfortunately, the Knife Juggler is just a liability at this point
Yeah,
for
you
Kranich.
give your opponent an Innervate. I don't want to play that card ever.
This is okay. This is a great
Wow.
situation for Kranich.
It's looking amazing for Kranich right now.
Time to put down some demons.
Zoro really needs to join to a Wild Growth for next turn, or an Innervate.
Yeah, his oh wow, that's okay. So
Very good curve.
very solid opening for Kranich, and you know when you play the Druid, obviously accelerating your mana is the core part of your plan. And
Ouch.
there's no mana acceleration here, so Zoro's gonna have to play this one fair. He's just gonna have to play
Yeah.
based on his actual mana.
And like previously, when he plays against a Zoo Warlock, you just want to play the BGH as a 4-2, right? But now there's Mal'Ganis, people are playing Dr. Broom as well, so you can't really play that as a 3-drop.
Yeah, it's he might have to, but it's not something that he would like to do. And missing that turn 2 play here, really bad for Zoro. He wanted one of the mana cards or a Wrath. Doesn't get any of that. And Kranich has a lot of options.
A wealth of options, in fact. Yeah, he can sit here, he can play down the Knife Juggler, which would of course summon an Innervate and a Keeper of the Grove.
Not this game.
Right, into Zoro's hand, or he could just play down the Egg, coin out the Imp Gang Boss. All these are actually just reasonably strong options. What do you guys like in here?
I do like the Nerubian Egg quite a bit because you do have the Abusive Sergeant to proc it anytime you want. And coining the Imp Gang Boss, while it's okay, you don't really have good trades, you can't really spawn Imps right now, and you also spend the coin, which might be useful later on.
I like the Juggler, that puts on the maximum pressure, because that deals a lot of damage. But I wouldn't have blamed him for any other play. Maybe Lifetime would have been quite bad, but other than that, everything seemed somewhat fine.
Yeah, we see Zoro actually does get that Darnassus Aspirant, and it's not even a bad draw right now. It would put him on 5 mana next turn if it survives. Have to imagine...
Oh, it's not
The
living.
chances of
It
yeah.
doesn't. Well, right, I was going to point out too, if Kranich played down the Egg, even with the Abusive Sergeant, he couldn't have taken out Darnassus
Oh,
Aspirant.
yeah, we could, because the Void Walker can...
Oh yeah,
kill
I'm
it
just
off.
saying, like with the single trade, yes, you
Yeah,
could have put
exactly,
the Void Walker
that's
into it,
true.
but
So this might have worked out a little bit better.
Yeah, Kranich has the option to coin out the Implosion here with the Knife Juggler, which is always great, but maybe he would be a little bit weak to a potential swipe in that case.
that's one of the things when you play against Druid. You basically have a checklist by your side of what am I currently weak to that the Druid can do.
Yeah,
Obviously, he's very excited to... Oh,
That's fine. It's
Yeah.
just 1 damage.
yeah.
just 1 damage. I mean, I live in a world where just 1 damage is a big deal. Man.
Well, if it's out of your control, you don't feel especially bad about it. Here, you get 1 damage here.
Okay, good. As long as we got that 1 damage.
Yeah, no swipe available for Zoro or a Wrath or a Keeper. This is going to be pretty hard.
Yeah, it's looking grim right now.
Yeah, Pile of Treader's gonna come down, and obviously Kranich has an answer in the form of that Implosion and the Knife Juggler.
Hey, you never know. A sheep might pop out. The Explosive Sheep would be really good on this board.
Today has
Sure,
really been a
might
good day
happen.
for Shredders. They've been kind of having their day with some of the stuff we've seen.
Power
so-
overwhelming from the top. With that Nerubian Egg, I'd be shocked if he didn't use it.
And you can play the Gang Boss as well.
All right, let's see it one time.
Oh, Kranich was unhappy about that. Okay, so it's a stealth.
That's
minion.
yeah, that's really good. That's not going to single-handedly turn the game, but A, it's soaked to hit from a knife, and it's going to be able to trade out with the Juggler, which
The
okay.
Abusive couldn't have traded the Stealth Minion, so that's actually pretty big.
That said, this is still a really bad spot for Zoro. This is
Oh, no.
what you are witnessing is Zoo actually doing what Zoo wants to do most of the time. It's crowded the board. It has a bunch of minions of various HP.
Like 14 power and something like similar in toughness on the board right now.
Right, so Void Caller or Implosion, obviously Void Caller at this point, because you have no other demons in hand, is just basically kind of a tempo play, but Implosion feels a lot better.
Oh, Kranich does not believe.
But he got it right!
Oh, he got it exactly right.
Sometimes you make your own destiny, Amaz.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, if he was to roll a 4, training in the Abusive Surgeon would have been a slightly better play,
Yeah.
but he gets the 3 that he was predicting with his Flame Imp trade.
So Kranich can stay alive, I believe, here, notwithstanding an Owl draw for Kranich next turn with that Druid of the Claw.
I mean, yeah.
But he really is just in a spot where Druid doesn't have anything like a Shadow Flame.
Yeah, that's 2 damage.
Oh, that is good enough.
Hey, Savage, are you also a wizard? Are you just calling this stuff?
Well, I mean, there's a lot of cards that will do damage.
Oh, he doesn't see it. Wait,
I'm pretty sure that he has.
this is lethal. It's
Yeah.
not. He just tapped for BM, right?
Yeah, he'll get there.
So,
That's,
yeah.
I was just a happy little BM right now.
Okay.
Yeah. Exactly 7 to face, and Kranich is gonna tie it up.
Yeah, Kranich played the zoo game very well. Zoro, you know, this can happen to druids. You know, we've seen over the course of this tournament where druid just draws all spells. Sometimes what happens here happens where you just draw minions. You're not getting that mana ramp. You're not getting your swipes. And I mean, I'd like to point out that against the hunter, he drew 2 swipes in like the first 10 cards.
and
So
still didn't help.
I mean, yeah, it evens out. It evens out. But yeah, so Kranich ties up the series, and now we go to, as Savage predicted,
Yep, we're going to see the
Druid
Druid Mirror. That was a very one-sided game there. We saw the hero power coming out from Zoro and Kranich with pretty much perfect hand. And that's not just the zoo things. There's so much stats with so little mana cost early on.
Right.
Just something that Druid can't keep up with.
Yeah, and it seems like we can guarantee that one druid is going to win this next match for sure.
I think that's reasonable to say, notwithstanding any hijinks. I'm not even sure. Yeah, because there's no unstable portals. There's no spell slingers.
or hellfires.
It's just a very honest game between two
will rise
Malfurions.
against you.
Right. And I don't think they can ever tie. There's not a situation where 2 druids can ever tie a game.
Ooh, Kranich looking like he's in pain. He's probably thinking about whether or not to keep the Emperor Tourism.
Oh no.
Choose to throw it away. Personally, I kind of like keeping it,
Well,
especially
going
with
first,
the innervate.
Yeah, going first, you have a little bit less
That's true.
knowledge
It's yeah.
of what you're gonna draw. So just
Yeah.
keep it innervate is completely fine. And innervate and wild growth does beat out a single
Wow.
innervate.
Yeah, that Ancient of War also a great card in this matchup.
Yeah, back when Druid was really popular, Black Knight was very prevalent all over the place. And sometimes innovating out an Ancient War is not the
Yeah.
best option you want to do.
Zoro, after that Wild Growth, he would be able to innervate coin out the Ancient of War
Right.
on his turn 3.
And if he makes it a 10-5, he can win in 3 turns.
All he has to do, is uproot it.
Yeah.
Unlike that, he would risk the big game hunters though.
Sometimes you gotta play brave. You know, you gotta play to win, not
Play to
play
win, try.
to be reasonable.
Okay.
One day we're gonna see the uproot be a thing, and it's gonna be wonderful. But for now, Kranich is gonna go ahead and just put out the sludge belcher.
That's like, that's a strong play. Then Zoro is like, I see your belcher and I raise.
Yeah. Nice taunt.
a little bit more stats.
Basically, Kranich is on his front lawn, like he has a really nice yard, and then like Zoro just walks out, is like, oh, nice. Here's my Ancient of War. That's.
Oh, that just happened.
Now, what are you afraid of if your Kranich is Dr. Boom or no? It's Ancient of War. Kranich looks sufficiently pained by this, so.
The only thing you don't want to see is Keep Up the Grove, I guess. Right?
Kranich is like,
Kranich.
are you kidding me?
So for Kranich now, you kind of have to start figuring out how you deal with this mini boss in the fight. It's kind of like a little
Mini-boss.
PvE encounter.
Yeah, sure.
First, you gotta get past the Ancient War before you ever start to fight Zoro. The rest of Zoro's hand, obviously just drew the Keeper of the Grove. Prior to that, was looking pretty not useful.
Yeah,
for the
not
moment.
spectacular.
And Keep Up the Grove isn't that spectacular.
No,
anyways,
it
right?
really isn't.
I guess you can kill the ooze
Yeah,
after
well-
the Belcher dies.
What I was gonna say is
Something.
you could just silence the Belcher if you want to.
Right. The same thing, right? Silencing
Yeah.
and pinging.
It just feels cooler to do 2 damage.
Yeah, it does.
Keeper not too bad. He has double roars in his hand right now. Getting a 4 toughness minion on the board. Not too bad.
Right,
Kranich here has a way to deal with that Ancient of War right now, but it's going to take his entire turn and the Shade of Naxxramas.
The only saving grace for him really is that Zoro is sitting on all spells.
That's true.
So this is I don't know. I think people get this idea with Druid that it's just one of those classes where it just always curves into these minions, but we've seen it a fair number of times in this tournament where Druid just doesn't do that.
Yeah,
Druid has
sometimes-
a bunch of spells, or they don't get the spells they need. So that's kind of what happens when you're playing a mid-range deck that's a really good percentage split of spells and minions.
Yeah, sometimes you just miss those drops. Turn 6, perhaps, is like the most often the turn that you miss. There's only Emperor Thorazon or maybe a Sylvanas that's on turn 6. So sometimes you want to, do something else, like shred a hero power, or maybe even play a 5-drop.
Time waits for no one.
Yep. Kranich here evaluating whether or not, whether he should swipe or draw. Goes for the swipe and keeps the shade.
Wow, very greedy.
Yeah.
He's gonna use the Wrath next turn, or possibly the Force of Nature to clear. But Zoro drawing the Druid of the Claw is gonna put more stuff and more pressure on the board.
I'm a little bit surprised that he chose not to trade the 3-3 for the 5-3, but with the Rot in his hand, I suppose he was thinking maybe, okay, I might pick up a Shredder, then I can Rot that off.
I actually really like that
Having a good
play
target.
from Kranich. Because again, you look at what's in your hand, you have 2 Forces of Nature, you have Dr. Boom, so okay, next turn, you may play Force of Nature, clear out, you trade the Shade into the Damage Keeper of the Grove, and then turn 7 you're planning on playing Dr. Boom, and then it's just kind of a matter of seeing what Zoro does. But Zoro, based on what his hand understands, it is time to go face. And,
Yeah.
Kranich may get into a little bit of trouble for kind of picking this greedier line.
Yeah, Zoro definitely gonna punish Kranich's greed play a little bit with
Absolutely.
the charge. And yeah, Kranich is forced to clear the board here as much as he can. He might be a healthy 20 on the screen, but he's actually only sitting at 6 health because combo is available to Zoro. Possibly even next turn if he draws an Innervate.
Seems like he wants to Rot instead of Force of Nature here.
And it's important to note that when you are playing against a Druid and the Druid of the Claw comes down in cat form, that is like the international sign for you are dead in 2 turns unless you do something crazy. Because when the Druid starts pushing for damage, it is more than capable of putting out a lot of damage.
And Kranich has the option to actually ping Keeper here, just take 1 damage. And he goes ahead and does that because he can't really utilize Hero Power next turn. He has to play Dr. Broom.
Oh!
Ancient of Lore, yeah, pretty solid draw.
That's a good draw.
I think at this point, with the cards in hand, obviously Zoro has kind of his finisher cards.
Right.
So having the 5/5 on the board might actually just be the more relevant thing.
Oh yeah, Zoro got super fortunate. His hand was Swipe, Force of Nature, double Savage Roar, and he just top decked every single minion that he needed to play on curve.
Yeah, it's also worth noting that, you know, if he hadn't drawn Ancient of Lore, he still had ways that he could have continued to press damage.
That's true.
And he only had to get down to 14 because he had the combo in hand already, so...
But this is like the dream situation, right?
Yeah.
Now, if you're Zoro, the only concern you have right now is the combo from your opponent's side. So you need to do a little bit of math and see if you need to, like, you know, play a little bit more safe.
You can deny Kranich 1 mana by killing the Aspirant if you think that's going to
Oh yeah, that's
give
also
out a
true.
combo range.
I kind of like the swipe because of the potential of the roars, like maybe double roar can happen, and this swipe does clear both Boombots and the Aspirant.
Yep.
After that, he still could Keeper of the Grove if he wants to. Might want to keep that for a silencing a taunt, but I feel like yeah, you just go for it.
Going
Yeah,
for King Face.
that's awesome.
I mean, at this point, Zoro has pretty much written Kranich a series of letters entitled "I'm going to get you next turn." Between the Cat, Druid of the Claw, and the Keeper of the Grove, 2 damage to the face.
And he will. There's no way for Kranich right now to stop that Force of Nature Savage Roar from Zoro's side.
So obviously he's trying to clear damage here, trying to do as much as he can to stay alive. He even burns the Innervate to activate the Hero Power. Or no, sorry, activate the Shredder, which puts something on the board. But yeah, we obviously know that there's more than enough damage in Zoro's hand by a lot.
Yeah.
And he's even going to go ahead and put up Savage Roar just to assert dominance, let him know how much damage he actually had. And he's going to go ahead and take the series and advance to join Tice in the top 8 for the Hearthstone World Championship.
Yeah.
Well done. Kranich is down, but he's not out. He will have another chance to still get